Oh, hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to Art Jam. My name's Josh Herman. We're going to be making some stuff today in ZBrush. For the past couple streams, we've been doing a couple different things. We did some dice that we made and 3D printed, and then we've done a bunch of timed head sketches, which have been pretty fun actually. So we're going to do something very similar to that today, but we're going to end up doing some spaceships. So we're going to work on some timed spaceship sketches. That's actually very hard to say. Timed spaceship sketches. We'll do 3 of them. Each of them is going to take about 45 minutes each. We have a timer, and I'm going to use some reference today that's actually going to be from household items. So this is actually something that was a technique that's very popular, especially in like the age of Star Wars, in the 70s, 80s, 90s. If you think of iconic ships like Boba Fett's ship Slave One is kind of inspired by an iron, right? By a handhold iron. So we're going to do some of that stuff today. I took some photos of some random things around my house, which we'll talk about, and I'll show you guys those in a moment as far as what we'll use for our initial inspiration. But yeah, if you've never joined Art Jam before, again, my name's Josh, so welcome to the stream. I'm going to pull up my art station here, and we'll share screens just in a second, so you can kind of get a little bit of a vibe of who I am, in case you have any questions about anything I've worked on. I'm a Gnomon alumni. I graduated back in 2009. I worked in the entertainment industry for about a decade. So working on movies like Real Steel, games like Uncharted 3. What do we got over here? Marvel's The Avengers. Basically all the Avengers movies from Avengers 1 to Avengers Endgame. Star Citizen. And then just a bunch of fan art depending on what kind of stuff that you like. I like to play around with different styles and different types of characters. So this is like comic styles, for example. This is fan art of Gray Fox from Metal Gear Solid, different kinds of things. So today we're going to be doing some more concept work in ZBrush and just doing some general sketching. I'm going to adjust our graphics here and move this out of the way so I can make this full screen for everybody. So now I'm down here in the corner, and we're going to hide this and get to ZBrush. Today, like I said, we're going to be making some spaceships using household items. This is our timer up here, so I'm going to start this here in a little minute when we're ready to get going on the first one. The first, the images that I ended up taking pictures of, so we can go ahead and take a look at these. These are what I'm going to use for my reference today. This is a bottle opener that was on my key ring, and I thought it kind of had an interesting shape, so I'm going to go ahead and keep working with that. This is a Nintendo Switch with a little handheld thing on the side that like clips on the back. It gives you an extra large kickstand and has bigger handholds. So I'm going to potentially make something out of this. This is my wife's hair diffuser slash hair dryer, blow dryer. I thought it looked kind of interesting as like potentially a asymmetrical spaceship. So we might play around with this one. And then this is my son's foldable tricycle, but when it's all folded up, I thought it made some interesting shapes in here as something that might be a nice spaceship. So I'll probably definitely play with this one, and this one just has a really interesting shape, but we might want to combine that with a couple things. So we'll start with some different things. In case you haven't seen in the chat already, it looks like Adam Hartel, one of our Gnomon representatives, is here today. So if you have any questions in the chat, please feel free to ask, whether that's about questions about classes, curriculum, courses, anything Gnomon related, and portfolios, admissions, anything like that, and Adam will be able to help you out. I can also answer questions as well, but Adam's available as well. All right, everybody. I think I'm going to start with this simple one down here. So I'm going to leave this up. I'm going to move these other ones out of the way and kind of put them down here. I'm also going to kick on our music. So hopefully everybody can hear that. If you can't, please let me know. My internet over the past couple of days has been a little weird, so if you see or hear anything that feels odd, let me know. If the stream gets laggy, I apologize. It has been, for some reason, just been kind of laggy. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's really terrible. So, not a lot I can do there. All right, let's get this like right up here. And let's get started. I don't know if I'm going to keep like the purely spherical aesthetic to this. I don't think that's necessarily my favorite thing. But we're going to start with a cube, maybe a cylinder, and start dynameshing. That feels loud. Let's turn that down. I just like that there's sort of this asymmetrical shape to it. All right. Oh, let's start this. Ready? Ready, everyone? 3, 2, 1, begin. All right. I'm actually going to make a cylinder instead of this. Now, I could obviously do all kinds of fancy things with ZModeler. We might end up doing some of those live booleans. We might end up doing this. First, I'm just going to make a polymesh 3D. And I'm going to use the old action line here to just kind of get rough shapes in order, something that's a little bit longer. I'm thinking this is more of a personal sized craft, so something that's probably, you know, a 1 or 2 seater. I don't think that this is necessarily, let me get some of this like bulge here at the beginning. I don't think that this is necessarily something that's like, you know, a large frigate or anything like that. So we're going to just explore some shapes. And I can always bring in additional tools if I need to. So I'm not super worried about any of that right now. It's fine. I'm also going to be hitting V quite a bit. V will switch everything to black. It just basically switches these two colors that you have. And if you have black and you're using a matte cap, which is basically any of the options down here, not up here, any of the ones down here, it'll automatically take it to like almost a silhouette mode. There is a thing you can use in here if you like that, but I don't really use it, and I covered it with my timer, so you might see me switching back and forth quite a bit, and if you do, that's what I'm doing. I realized I kind of have this spun the wrong way. It's not really the wrong way because it's spherical, but I'm trying to work in a top to bottom kind of mode. All right. Right now it kind of looks like a plunger. I know we're going to want to get something else, so let's go and append a cube. Cube 3D-1. Let's go in here. We'll just make it a polymesh so we have one. We'll then append said cube. And let's just kind of block this in for general size. Which way's up? This way's up. I might not make it asymmetrical at first, just because. Right now it looks like a really old bomb. I am going to make it asymmetrical because it doesn't really make sense for it to not be. If I'm going for this look, let's just start that way. All right. All right, so passenger craft. We got our initial shape. You can see kind of being inspired by here. We're going to leave this up the whole time. We'll do this for all 3 of the ones that we end up doing. Turn off this dynamic slider so we can get a larger brush size. And we're just going to play with some shapes. Let's go ahead and dynamesh this thing. I think we're just going to start sculpting a little bit on it. Apparently that's pretty high. That's better. All right. I'm going to come into here into my brushes, smooth stronger. This is a really good brush to basically, when you're using Dynamesh, to make it a little easier to use. All right. So we got to figure out first off where the people are going to sit. To me, it kind of makes sense for them to sit in here somewhere versus here. We could do here, and this could be like an additional cabin. Like, where's the main view screen, I guess, is the question. So let's just like sketch in ideas for view screens. We could do something kind of like this. We could do something kind of like, you know, this with like, you know, a window or something. This could be like the docking bay. So we might want to keep this like open for like docking. So docking, that's one option. Maybe there could be like a cabin. I don't know how big this thing is going to be. Let's import a model real quick. Let's come over here. Can't see. I want this. Bring this back. Import. Let's grab a human mesh. There we go. We'll use this as like our base. So we're going to come in here and we're going to append our human. Come on. Human. That is way too large. So we're going to rotate them. Shrink them. This is probably closer to what I'd imagine. So this can give us a little bit of a sense of how big this space is going to be. And I love doing this because it immediately puts it in scale. Now, are they going to sit there the whole time? Almost certainly not. But we can kind of put this in scale, so we say like, oh, you know, if this is a cabin or if this is a place where maybe it's docking, maybe this needs to be a little taller. Probably a little taller. And I was also thinking we should maybe shift it to the bottom. It's already asymmetrical, so we can probably have this like kind of this way. Doesn't really look like a ship that could land on the ground without like a significant amount of like landing gear. So we might need to keep that into account. So let's go ahead and clip that as well. Clip curve is fine. Perspective on. I'm going to turn that off just because clip curve is sometimes a little weird. We'll say if this is the ground level, that's where that should be clipped. And let's keep making some adjustments. But now we've got our scale, we've got our rough ideas of what this could be. And I'm going to start using Dynamesh now to basically grab sections of the model. I'm just going to pull it out. I realized I shouldn't have done that, but that's okay. What would be interesting on this thing? I'm trying to think what we could do. I kind of like the, I kind of like how this is like sticking at the bottom. And how like the back of this thing up here has like some little dots on it, so we might be able to play with that. And let's like put this diamond shape in here. What does it do? I have no idea. Hello, Nutavut. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. We're going to try to make some spaceships based off everyday objects today. Just getting started. Kind of want to go like a little more aggressive in the angles though, whereas this thing is very, you know, round. I don't like the front being like this shape. Let's kind of give it some more aerodynamicness. I've recently been playing with AccuCurve, which is a fun little feature you can turn on in your brushes. I've never really used it a ton. I've seen a lot of people use it before, but I've never really tried it. And I actually really like it. I'm not using it right now, but I've been exploring with it. It's been great. This is some little side pod, I don't know, that comes out the other side. Maybe there's like a could see some sphere or something being in here. Maybe there's like another viewing window. This might get deleted. I'm not sure if I like this. I kind of like the idea of just like, rather than creating this whole thing on the outside, we just move this, bring this thing in, make sort of a little porthole. Hello Lee, welcome to the stream, hope you're doing well. Just kind of put this in here for some reason. I'm going to dupe this over because I think I might use more of these spheres. I see this kind of coming in as a potential theme. Let's try some things. Hello, hello. Looks like we got some people joining the stream. Welcome. Today we're doing 3 45-minute long spaceship sketches. So welcome to the stream. Right now we're starting with inspiration from everyday objects. So we have a hairdryer here that I'm using as my initial starting point, so you can kind of see where that's coming from. We've added a human-sized character here, so you can see roughly what the size of this ship would be. Let's see what we can get in 45 minutes. What does this look like if we chop it? Yeah. This probably should get pulled in. I'm not in love with this shape I'm making. It's very wing-like, which is kind of the goal, to bring in something like that, but it's not ideal. So if this is a craft that's going to fly through space, it probably doesn't need to be crazy aerodynamic, but if it's going to fly in atmosphere, it needs to have some aerodynamics. So I think I'm just going to like slightly airfoil the front of this just to give it that appearance that it's not a cube flying through space. And then even with that, maybe I'll mask this off. I'll try to give it like a sort of a stretched and shrunken appearance. I feel like I should have hardened this mask. Hairdryer inspired, that is correct. At least for this one. 30 minutes to see what we can make out of this. We'll see if it goes anywhere. Would this be film or games, 3D printing, something else? This is pretty much anything. Honestly, at this point, it's just design. So designs can kind of work for whatever you want them to be, whether it is film, games, any of the above. Let's get this like thing tied into this wing, maybe. And we're just kind of making shapes, and so we're going to toggle back and forth with this quite a bit. And mean, if we flip this, it would be very traditional inspired, so not quite where we want to go with it just yet, but that's fine. That's okay. Let's give this like a little bevel on the back too. I don't know what these buttons are really doing, or if they're buttons, or if they're engines, or if there's something else. This one has it like kind of near the middle, which is kind of what I was going for. No, I put it right in the middle. Let's put it closer. This is like a little porthole or something. It will very likely not be a sphere that sticks out, but at least if it was final. Give it a little bit of a more sheared airfoil look on this thing. Cool. I'm not in love with the shape that we have here. It's very soft, so I'm going to take this. I'm going to try that AccuCurve. I think it's under Brush Curve, AccuCurve, this button right here. Basically, it makes the pulls when you use Move specifically. Look how sharp it is as compared to if I turn this off. You'll see how soft it is. So Brush Curve, AccuCurve, and this will make it so I can either make a more aggressive curve or you know, create it differently. I mean, we could do something that's the opposite. I feel like this is what I would expect to see, so let's try something that's the opposite of that. Can also use our clip, which is also great for that. We're going with this little shape for now. Let's grab this, explore this a little more. Let's just try stretching this a little. I think thinner, which is what this kind of references, is actually working a lot better. We need to adjust this pretty heavily because right now it's really not working. Right now, like I was saying, it kind of looks just like a missile. I think we push this to the front a little bit more. I think for how much time we have, I need to stop playing with this wing. Considering we only have 25 minutes left in this ship. All right, let's keep working on this thing. Is it masked? No, smooth. Oh, there we go. All right, I kind of like where this is going. I don't love, but I don't hate this, so I might just chop it like here. Might use the, what's that called? This one? Brush radius. And then I think it's smaller brush radius. Brush size. Give it a little inset. Sure. All right, let's adjust this. I think we should have, I like how there's like this little top thing on this, and I also like how there's this line that goes all the way across. So let's try to integrate that into the design. Maybe we'll say it's this line off of this thing. So it's connecting. It can go all the way back here because this would be a cockpit, so maybe the cockpit like opens. Goes like into this. And from there it's going to have a line backwards, and we could say there's a line all the way to the front. I don't know if that really makes sense, but we'll just say there is. It could be this line. You can always sculpt that out, so that's not a huge problem, regardless of where it ends. Kind of like this like bird beak front. We'll end up tucking that wing in here whenever we choose a shape we like. So we'll just work on like the fuselage real quick. This kind of reminds me of the front of the Milano. Chat, what's your favorite spaceships? Spaceships in all entertainment. Anything that sticks out to you as like something you really, really liked the most? I have a feeling I know what some of the big ones are that'll come in as far as favorites. But I'm curious if there's anything that's out there that I don't know or that is unexpected. The one from Thunderbirds. Yeah, that's a good one. Not what I expected. Not what I expected, Thunderbirds, but that's all right. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I wanted to have like maybe a little bit of a flare, like this kind of a thing. We've already got like this. And so I was thinking, you know, we could take this, maybe make it a little bit more aggressive. Let's make an aggressive hairdryer ship. There's probably a production designer out there who's said that before. I want it to be like an aggressive hairdryer. Yeah, totally. Do 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 do. So we'll go from like a peak to a line. I think that'll be a nice way. The Pelican from Halo is pretty cool for like a small transport ship. I think it's called the Pelican, yeah. You said you think that's the name, so yeah, I think that's it. That's a good one. I'm just shocked there's no Star Wars suggestions yet. No Falcons, no X-Wings, no A-Wings, no B-Wings, no Y-Wings, no TIE Fighters, no TIE Defenders. Interceptor. There's so many. Slave 1, Razor Crest. Event Horizon. There you are, Adam. I had a feeling you were going to come in with a Star Wars suggestion. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. We're making spaceships based on everyday items. Spaceship sketches specifically, and we're doing each one in 45 minutes. So far we've got this kind of a ship. This is the size of a person. We got to figure out where they get in here. They could definitely get in here. Be like some like little porthole. Let's bring it over here. I think that's more appropriate now that I think about it. Where'd you go? There you are. Oh yeah, they could get in there. Be a little tight, but you know, there's like a little window maybe. Hide that. Not a terrible circle. Feel pretty happy with that. Make some little windows or something on the side. This is me sketching windows in like a very low poly object, but that's okay. Sabbath Brain. You love the landing craft from Aliens. The landing craft from Aliens is incredible, though. In the pipe. All right, this area is real weak. So this is the part that's still making it look not as interesting. Let's give it a little flair to here. We did this already once. Let's like give it like, you know, if we're going with this sort of missile shape, let's keep giving it a little missile action. And maybe we'll pull this out. And we'll mask this area off. It's going to look a little bit like a fish or a shark. Okay. And then we should, this, I mean, we've basically said like this is where the cockpit is, I think. This is probably where the living quarters are. And this has got to be all engines. So this is just, let's like beef this up, you know, with some little ridges here. This is the classic like, oh, this spaceship is basically just a missile attached to a cockpit. It's the equivalent of like a motorcycle. A motorcycle is just an engine attached to two wheels. This is a living quarters and cockpit attached to a spaceship. No. I don't like that. Let's just take a sliver of it. I like how the masking like didn't do it perfectly, which I'm actually serious. I actually like that. It does feel very shark-like still. I don't know why this would be so long. That's actually, you know, part of the inspiration is this being so long. So I think I'm going to try to shorten it to where this little black area here would have been like the actual exhaust part of this ship. And then we'll say like, so let's mask that off, and then we'll mask like all of this. This, whatever I just did here. Apparently that's going to do something weird. Trying some things here. We'll see how this goes. Definitely does look a lot like a shark. Are we cool with that? Are we cool with this shark ship? It's maybe a little too shark for me. So let's try to bring in some of this. Change this up a little bit. It's these little fins that made it sharky, isn't it? What would these fins be for? It's like not not a very aerodynamic ship that you would like want to fly necessarily in an atmosphere. So I'm trying to figure out what they'd actually be for. Especially on this side, like it's just being blocked. Maybe they're like some side thrusters. Isn't there like a term for that? Retro thruster, side thruster? I don't remember what the difference is. Let's push it inside though. You like the spaceships don't have to be aerodynamic, there's more room for wacky designs. I agree. I agree. You gotta do cooler and different things. That's why it's important, I think, to know if your spaceship is intended to be flying in space or not when you're designing it, because that'll give you specific requirements that you kind of need to follow. At least to a certain extent, obviously. I don't think they would be this far forward, so I'm going to try push this backwards. And out. Don't really know what I've done here. We'll clean that up shortly. Let's get to the rest of this thing. Alright, let's take this, smash it this way. Okay, okay. Now this I kind of warped around because I was like, this is what the ship would be. I think we can give it a little bit of room here because it would have to have landing feet of some kind. So we can give it a little bit of a more shape at the bottom. Let's round it off. Okay, I don't actually like that is. And I think this thing would just be packed with boosters. So let's append a cylinder. Where are you? Let's get you in the back there. I think one's got to be in the middle. We could have a central one, or like a stack. The Ebenhawk from Star Wars, the Old Republic 1 and 2. Nice choice, excellent choice. Let's do like no, let's not do one. Let's do like, let's shrink this one down. Let's do 4 in here. And then let's get is it the mast ones? Yeah, that's the one we want. Some of these little ones could go in here. Ooh, okay, okay, hang on. Wait for it. Wait for it. I think we should do a diamond in here, and we'll chisel this off. Alright, so we're going to do this. This is my idea. Let's see how it works. Oh, this music. I guess this would be this pilot's theme song. Yeah. So we'll undo all these until there's just one. Put it like here. Make it really big. That's too big. A little smaller. Where do I play music? I play music on Spotify. Are you asking what my playlist is? Let's go ahead and save this. Doom, 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 doom. Sorry, making new folders off screen. Now this is not working anymore. So let's like just do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. It's creating all those weird things because I've used clip poorly. This could be like a big window. Or a bunch of details and greebles. Gotta have greebles. Greebles or nirnies, in case you don't know what that is. It is very quiet music. This is the music that we're playing today. I can turn it up for you if I'd like. By NFO on Spotify. Some sort of details would be here. We probably want some sort of details here. There's still not my favorite things that are going on here. I think we need to like add some detail and interest to this part. You know, whatever these lines, there could be like some lines or detailing on this. Overall, this is kind of the shape we did. It's not very aggressive. It's kind of fat in the middle from the top. So we could stretch the whole thing. Stretch parts of it. First, let's actually do the back. Just kind of changing the profile of it. Perspective shouldn't be on when you're using your clip curve. Something's going on here. That's okay. We'll just force it to work. Definitely doesn't make sense to have those being that big if it doesn't have like an area to house it. So maybe we need to adjust the profile of this to have that. Still, it didn't actually fix any of the problems. I think it just made them worse. So let's see if we can just drag this thing. How much, got a question from Twitch. Stealth Art asks, how much abstraction or happy accidents you rely on or intent to proceed or on intent to proceed further to details? A little bit of both. I have an intent to, to kind of follow this and see where it goes, but I'm not necessarily afraid of letting it lead me somewhere new as well. So a little bit of both. I think it's okay to have happy accidents. My personal opinion is I don't necessarily go chasing them or trying to create them. But if they, there's some techniques that I've seen which are pretty successful, where part of your design process is to like look for those or to make those or find ways for them to appear, which is super valid. But I personally don't use many of those. Would it be a bad design choice if a small ship is combined with a extremely huge piece, like an extremely huge engine compared to its size, even though it wouldn't be possible due to structural strength, etc.? Y-wings in Star Wars attach those booster rings to fly faster. I think it's okay. I mean, especially if it's your world. You make your own world. I think I like this more. We're breaking away a little bit from this, but it still kind of has that taper. And that might also allow us to do something slightly less asymmetrical. We can still be asymmetrical, but does it have to be so asymmetrical in the way of, looking like it's truly just the hairdryer? Maybe we could adjust it. All right, so we have like this. It definitely looks like, honestly, it feels like we should just do this, though. We're going to do it just to see it, just to say that we did it. Right? This is what it feels like it should be. So we don't want that. We're going to try to avoid it. What can we do to make it feel more natural? Not natural. This cutoff I made it more like clearly intended to be something different. I think the cockpit is too fighter pilot. I think that's not helping us here. We'll say that this is the size of the pilot. We have about a minute left, so we're going to hurry this up. This is the size of the pilot. You don't need the cockpit to be any bigger than this. And it'll have a little glass front, because why not? Looks like a Destiny ship with symmetry. Interesting. I haven't played too much Destiny, at least I don't really, well I have, I just don't remember most of the spaceships, because it wasn't really a huge part of the game. I mean, you fly to places, but you don't ever really like fly, like truly. So for me it was always kind of odd that that was like an upgrade and stuff you could get. But I also didn't get super deep into it. All right, we got 5 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll do that. All right, we're going to save. We did our first spaceship. We'll put it here as we save. Ugh. All right, 2 more. So the other pieces of household things that I took photographs are of these. So this was the last one. You can kind of see where that comes from. I definitely want to use this one. This one I like, but it's just so simple. This one I also kind of like, and it has some similar things, so maybe we'll combine these two together to make their own thing. You love Tattoo Jam? What's Tattoo Jam? All right, we'll do this one last because I want to be warmed up for this one. I see a lot of cool shapes in here. All right, we're going to use this one, our Nintendo Switch with this hand holder thing on it. And we're going to use this as like maybe a general shape inspiration. So we've saved this. Let's go ahead and grab a cube. All right. I think I'm going to start since I haven't officially started, I think I'm going to use the general shape of the bottle opener because I like how that kind of looks. With some of the extras from the Switch case. All right, let's do it. Ready? Go. Let's go ahead and get our geometry. We'll turn our Dynamesh on. I think we're at like 32. Yeah, that's fine. Symmetry on so I can do this the right way. Let's just stretch this thing out. Look a little far, but we'll adjust. Kind of see some of what we're getting at. I want to bring in a cylinder. Apparently I have solo mode on. Kind of like this for like the front. It's just this kind of simple shape that we're going to start out with. Much like the last one, we're probably just going to almost make the proportions and the shape of what we have, but probably make some adjustments along the way. There we go, we made a bottle opener. Success, everyone. Let's add some of these elements to it. So I like how this has like this central area. Let's get our person. Append. Baseman with shoes. Where are you, Baseman? There we are. So this ship have to be, he would have to be much smaller to walk through this section. Probably at least this tall. I'll make it a little bigger. All right. And immediately I'm going to make some chisels on this because I don't like how just big and square it is. Just a couple. Nothing major. Or maybe the opposite. Just some shapes. I was saying I like how there's this kind of section that goes across. Kind of like right above the main body. How are you holding onto the mask box and moving it around? If you have the mask out and you, while you're holding down control and you hold down space, you can move around your mask box. AccuCurve on, so that's why it's all pointy. I think we bring in this whole piece though. Just a little bit. So we can go super thin with it, but then it looks like a sled. You go wide with it, and it doesn't really make sense. Just a little bit. So I like that there's this. I'm going to just go ahead and do this shape to it, because we've already got that. We established that theme. I don't want to add these little things here. I'm going to say that they're probably also part of this. We'll see how this goes. Not this part. Just going to dynamesh that all together. Apparently I created some terrible geometry there, so we'll just fix it. Or make it much worse. There we go. Alright, so we kind of need to decide where stuff is now. I think we should add like a big section here. Let's just do it this way. But not there. Maybe a little taper to it. Not loving that it kind of looks like it has eyeballs. So we're going to end up removing this part. It's kind of got like a... I don't know where this one's going. I see the potential for it, but I'm not sure how to realize it yet. Let's play around with this front. Kind of looks like a sandal. It's like a sandal that like Hermes or Mercury might have. sometimes it helps if you make sound effects. So you just got to do this. And pretend it's flying. And if it feels like it's flying, you're doing things right. We all know spaceships are destined to have long things sticking out in front of them, so why not? For some reason, it's a thing that all spaceships end up having, or many do. Oh, good lord. Let's just do this. Yeah. That'll be fine. You can come into here, and then you can go geometry, modifiers, modify topology, mirror, and weld. And I'll get that to the right side. I think it was better when it had this big head thing. I'm telling you, sound effects help. Ooh, okay. See, now we've got this side, which is different than this side. Or I think. Yeah, see, it goes all the way back here, and this one doesn't. I like this side more. If we mirror and weld it, we'll probably keep the other side, which is what I don't want. So I'm going to go in here and go, since there's no subdivision levels, I can go to deformation, mirror, that flips the whole object. And then I can go into mirror and weld, so I basically flipped which side I'm mirroring. Now I was doing something. What was I doing? Oh, that's right. I was going to adjust the shape so that it's not just so square. Alright, let's figure out where the cockpit is. I feel like that's pretty important. I think we also swallowed our person. There he is. Come on out. You hang out here. He's in a danger zone. Alright. 30 minutes left. We've got a block out. It's not the best part of the block out. So we can do the cockpit here. So we need to do that to do this, but it could be like here. Oh, that's like a weird face. It could be in here. Kind of like this so far. That could be an option. This could be an option. It could be really small. It could be in here. It could not be able to see it all and it just be through screens and be some sort of thing like in here. I think we'll do it here. These are too, everything's too flat. Everything's too on the ground level. I don't really like this little angle here. All right. Let's keep moving on this thing. I'm not so sure about this one. Kind of like this out. Not really sure what these are, and I just generally, it's such a square rectangle shape right now. I think that needs to be adjusted. Obviously, that's okay to a certain extent, but it's not, I don't think, the most interesting thing in the world. So maybe we just need to do some overall subtle tweaks. Let's take it like from here. Oh, okay, from here. Just kind of rip it. Maybe this thing too. Start changing up the proportions. Everything's kind of feeling like it's the same shape and size. Meaning, if it starts to feel at a certain point like it's kind of like a child's toy, meaning a lot of stuff in children's toys all roughly the same size, right? Like big, chunky objects so that they can't swallow on it. The problem with that from a design standpoint is everything's the same size, so you don't have a lot of things that are bigger, smaller. Your 1, 2, 3s, your small, medium, larges as far as your reads, and that can be a problem. So that's what I'm trying to fix right now. I just don't really know where to separate, and so I'm working to create some areas that might be better to separate or create separation. So for example, I'm going to take this section here. There's some weird geometry in here, so I kind of want to dynamesh this. You can see how odd that looks. Let's dynamesh it. Great. Let's take all of this, probably even into here. Too square. This melody sounds so familiar. I think that already is kind of helping, something that brings it a little bit different of a shape. We might be able to tie in what I'm kind of thinking now is the profile can go up, whereas right now it's very box all the way across, whereas even if we do some top level adjustments, it doesn't fix that issue for me, so I need to still find a way to fix that. So I'm thinking if we just bring in like another area. Back here we're getting a little weird, so let's cut that off. This is too square. We could do a square booster though, or something like that. I don't really know what this is. We have a lot of competing shapes in here as far as what's the, is there a booster, is there not boosters, how does it kind of work? Now we're getting somewhere. We covered up most of that stuff and deleted a lot of it, so I think that helped quite a bit. Come from here where it was competing for a lot of shapes in this area. So you can kind of see what we've done to this piece. And I have all these other things, and it was also in solo mode, which is why it was looking better. I was like, something's missing. This is now the piece that we need to adjust, because I don't really like what it's giving us. It is where some of this inspiration came from. But I like that more. Zethlin from Twitch, I believe that's your name, asks, hey Josh, do you know why companies like Blizzard require that high poly models need to be done in subdivisions instead of ZBrush? Is it because they're still using old methods? It's probably just some sort of way that their pipeline works. It's possible they use high poly models for texturing or something like that. I mean, I'm sure that they incorporate ZBrush because I know they do, but they might just want the high resolution and the low resolution models to have the same topology, at least same base topology. So that would be my first assumption, at least as far as why they would say that they need to be subdived versus not. It's a guess though. But I've seen that before with, you know, companies or places basically saying that the high resolution model should have the same topology as the low resolution model, and it makes it a lot easier to make changes on the model. It makes it a lot easier to just do a lot of different things, to be honest. So you're saying 4 games in parentheses, so it's possible that they use that same model or that they use it in cinematics or something like that. They use it for marketing material, promos, so they don't want to have a purely game res model as their only option. They would like to have a slightly higher or much higher res version of that. That's a guess though, but I don't think that's necessarily an older technique or model. I think it's just that it needs their requirements for their game or their promotions or their marketing or whatever it is. It just needs different and extra considerations rather than just the classic pipeline of high poly sculpt, low poly cage, bake, and being done. Alright, I like what this is adding. I'm going to try to make this work. Oh, I also think that I'm going to make this a rectangle. Just like one, oh, I was like, that's not working. It's because it's one long polygon. There we go. So sort of turning into like a kind of a Batmobile. I don't think we need this thing at all though. This one. I think this takes up that shape good enough. Looks like a luxury cruiser, engine at the front, giant exhaust at the back. Yeah. That was kind of, I guess, the goal. This I don't think needs to be here. Now this, however, oh, we did say this was going to be our cockpit up here. Which software? We're using ZBrush today. Let's say there's like a cockpit in here. Where would they enter? Where would you enter this ship? Probably like in here. Behind this big head, like bulkhead thing. Maybe this is like where a little ramp comes down. And it goes like this. You'd enter from below. There's always the option to do this thing, yeah, like where it's like, and this thing goes, and it has a little elevator on it. It's always that option. Which software is best for 3D modeling and is easy to learn? I think you're probably going to have a lot of success with ZBrush, which is what I'm using today. It's more for sculpting, not for modeling, so it's going to lend itself initially better to organics, you know, characters, muscles, anatomy, creatures, animals, stuff like that. However, Blender is, if you're wanting to get into 3D, it has a really great and large online community. So I could also recommend to Blender pretty easily. It's also free, whereas the full version of ZBrush, which is what we're using today, is not free. Maybe there's like a little secondary viewing area back here, or like a little, what's that called? A sunroof. It's gonna be like a sunroof area or some sort of panel. This clearly has retro thrusters. I don't know if that's the right word, but we'll say this is a retro thruster spot. We should have them come out, not in. Which means we should have some back here somewhere. Definitely under here. Probably some back here. And I don't think this is done, but we'll put some in the back when we're done. There is ZBrush Core Mini, that is correct. There is a free version of ZBrush called ZBrush Core Mini. It's pretty limited as far as the actual amount of things that you can do, but it is completely free and is a really good way to get your hands on the software to see if you like it. Alright, y'all, I don't like this thing right up here. Let's chop it. That was kind of where this came from, and this stuff came from, but I think we can have a little bit. But it might be more interesting to just bring this. Why does it have this? What could these be? What could these be aside from looking like pincers? Why would these be here is the question. Oh, okay. We're counting.
1, 2, 1, 2.
You know the lyrics, sing along.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, funk.
Do I think ZBrush is setting themselves up to fail so it ends up dead software like so many others by overpricing? No, I do not. First off, if you purchase the full license, you get upgrades forever. When I purchased ZBrush for the first time, or the only time, I purchased it back in 2006, and I've never had to upgrade. So that's 15 years-ish of free software. Free upgrades. And then second off, now they have a subscription model, so there's not necessarily a need to have to do exactly what the full software if you don't want. They're also very innovative company, so they're always upgrading and creating things. So I don't think that they'll, if for some reason Pixelogic was to go down, I don't think it would be because of pricing. Or it would be some other reason, some unknown that I can't think of. All right, giving this a little bit more. I'm realizing that this is very square, meaning like a lot of verticals, and as we get up here, it's a complete disaster as far as not doing that anymore. So I'm going to take a little bit of time and focus it. I've added a lot of very not square lines, but the whole initial design was very, very square. Suggest to you a 3D beginner tutorial for Blender. Go to Blender Guru's channel. That's the easiest. That's a good starting point for you. YouTube channel. Somebody says, hey, I was wondering, do you work solemnly in ZBrush or do you also model in something like Maya and Max? When would you choose one over the other? I do also work in Maya. My first 3D package I ever learned was 3ds Max, but I haven't picked it up in quite a long time. Why would you do one over the other? If you're getting into production, ZBrush is great for sketching and sculpting, and obviously you can make high poly models with it. You can retopologize in it. Not saying you can't do everything in ZBrush, you can. But if you want to get into a full production pipeline, Maya is definitely the way to go with that. Especially from the texturing, UVing, laying out side, doing rendering, with a proper camera. Integrating it into animations and all that stuff. So if you kind of have plans of any type to do any of that work, eventually you're going to want to move to not out of ZBrush, so that you can do a full piece as compared to just a section. Somebody's recommended the donut tutorial from Blender Guru. That's a really good place to start. Yeah, I agree. I think this design has potential. It's a little unrefined and kind of all over the place. I don't think it has like a great central thing. Let's see what this one looked like. This one looked okay. I think this one has a stronger, like, initial piece. This one is kind of just more generic fighter ship with only one wing. This has a stronger start. Yeah, it does kind of feel like an F-Zero space race car, huh? Like, I like sections of it. I kind of like this area here. I kind of like this thing here. I don't necessarily like any of this. And this is really messy. So, trying to clean this up. We got a couple minutes, so we'll try to get as close as we can. As refined as we can. I think what I'm going to do that is I'm basically just going to start deleting things. If it gets a little soft, that's okay. This is a nightmare right here. So let's just start removing things. We're simplifying them. We're really clearly starting to separate them. When they have these really large shapes, it can be cool, but you need to, like, for me at least, I need to know what they're doing or what the separation between them is, which one's attached to which and why. You know, is there intention behind that? So you can kind of even just see a little bit of that. Like, this is a big shape that didn't have a lot of detail in it here in the middle. And then so I masked that out, pulled it out, added some detail to it, refined the shape, and then just starting to refine all these a little bit so there's a little bit more detail as compared to before. Separating all the shapes from each other is really helping me, actually. Gundam race car, or how the Transformers look on their home world. Yeah, exactly. Twin exhaust at the back, make it feel like a racer. Yeah, this thing. I think these should be like very square or something. A little curved, but I don't really know what these do, because this is like the big booster thing. I think it feels a little better, less like saggy. We only have about a minute left, so we're not going to be able to get a ton more done on this. I kind of wish when I split this, maybe just pull the whole thing in. Yeah. Trying to find where in view history do I like it the most? Right here. Let's just make it, bake that in there. All right, we got 30 something seconds left. Let's just carve a couple of these lines in, separate some of these things. Just put something in here. We didn't really do anything to the front, even though we probably would want to do something. I think this is kind of like what the pod racers had, like this little thing in here. This thing's pretty loose, so we'll just give it a quick design and we'll be done. I know the time just ran out. But we can't leave this cylinder untouched. All right, that'll be good. That'll be good. I'm cheating, but that's okay. All right. And this thing needs something. That's what happens when you set a time, and then you're like, oh, I'm starting to get into the flow right as the time's ending. You just ignore it. Keep working. Why not? Good enough. All right, that is our bottle opener version. Looks like a small ship docked onto a bigger ship. Yeah, I think some of that could be from the highlighting, you know, but that's definitely like an element here and then an element here. I think this is way stronger than this. So I think I just need to bring in some of this aesthetic and simplicity into the back. All right, that's 2 down. This will be our household object for the next one. Get out of the way. So far we have this one. We'll do like a little lineup. We'll hide our people. So we turn off our symmetry. So we have this one, which kind of looks like this. And then we have this one, which looks like this. I like the one on the left a lot more. Currently, if I was to take one to completion, I would definitely do the one on the left. There's cool things about this one, but this one almost feels like an escape pod. Let's put it over here. We'll try perspective. When you get to the edge of the screen, sometimes the perspective in ZBrush is a little odd. Put it over here. About yay large. Screenshot that. You can hit Shift S, by the way, to do that. And then we have this one over here. All right, let's grab a cube. Let's append our person. Get that out of the way first. Where's the symmetry line? There it is. You can stay here. So this is actually a tricycle that has been collapsed. So there's wheels, 3 wheels. I like this big wheel in the back, this sort of like overhanging canopy thing. Some large shapes here, like a central shape in the middle. So this image in general, this object has a lot more detail than like our bottle opener or anything else, for example. But I'm gonna try it. So this one might need a little bit more. I'm actually gonna use the reference probably more than I would the other one. All right, and we'll go in just a second. How's everybody doing in chat? Anybody working on some personal projects, working on stuff for school? Anything interesting going on? Let's start. We're also going to append a cylinder. We're going to start with this cube. Just going to stretch it. Basically stretch it till it feels, I think, roughly the right size. Trying to study ZBrush since you've been working only with Maya, so you're here watching me. Nice. ZBrush is great. It does take a little while to get into. I've definitely heard that critique a lot. But it's just because of the interface is very different. Hit Dynamesh and it appears to have frozen. So we'll see if it comes back. Yeah, that was just 3 million in that. It's a little better, but still not great. Let's even go further. 16. 8. 8 will be fine. Oh, this thing zoomed into infinity, into the corner of my door. Put you up here. Be learning game development later this year. That's awesome. What kind of games are you hoping to work in? Hello from Russia. Hello. You just got the hang of ZBrush's UI. Yeah, it'll take a little while. It's not the most intuitive thing to see it for the first time, especially if you. I mean, honestly, it is the worst for people who already know 3D. If you know 3D, doesn't matter which package it is Blender, Maya, Modo, Max, Softimage, it really doesn't matter. That's when it's the hardest because you're not used to working in this type of a UI, and that's because it only really exists in ZBrush. I don't think I've ever seen a UI or a navigation or anything that's like this, except for ZBrush. Well, right now this certainly doesn't look like a spaceship, but that's okay. We'll get there. see the potential. I'm going to go into my stroke settings. I'm going to go into modifiers. I'm going to go into my roll distance on my clay buildup brush. If you turn this over 1, any number over 1, it will not have those artifacts in the stroke itself. So it's much more, kind of buttery and smooth. This is good for when you want to make shapes like this on objects. So I'm just going to sculpt this. I don't know how much of this is really going to be like broken apart, but I kind of like how there's this kind of separation of these two areas. Go away, person. What artifacts? I'll show you. So if you go into clay buildup, stroke, and I'll put this back to 1. What you see on, like, we'll put it here, is if I want to do one large stroke, get this sort of stepping, especially when you go move your faster. So you can see on the stroke there's these horizontal lines. So I'll leave this one here, and then I'll do a stroke, roll distance, turn this up, and you see that those are mostly gone. There's still a little bit of it there, but it's considerably lessened. This texture versus this texture. This one feels like one that might do better with a lot of subtools, and I'm concerned that me trying to sculpt it from scratch is going to just take a long time to sculpt these shapes. But we'll do our best to make it work. We've got a good amount of time. We've got about 30 minutes, so it's not like we're short on time to try to make it look good. As per usual, we're basically just going to make the shapes first, and then we'll probably adjust them after that. do all this little detail. But it's going to hopefully help me at least place some of this stuff. This is actually kind of turned out. Which might be more successful in this if it was turned down. Yeah, like hovering thrusters, exactly. How long have I been using ZBrush? I've been using ZBrush for about 15 years now. There's this sort of posture that I want to get in here, which is this sort of hunch up here. So those will need to be dialed up quite a bit. There's sort of like this front area here, which could be improved. We're getting much more into, or as the other ones were like pulling objects out. I think that's probably what I should actually focus on more, is like using this method of masking a shape out. It's a little stronger, it's a little easier to adjust. Went up at an angle. There we go. And then like clipping them. So let's like mask this area off. Let's try to get some of this like part here. Sounds like Tears for Fears or Wham. Skip that one. Let's go to another one. Started getting into like very commercial territory there. Not a fan. Successful. You could spend a bunch of time and try to sculpt it, which obviously can work. But I've been finding that I'm trying to make like hard surface sketches at least. Using masking and pulling, like just doing this kind of a thing, seems to just be way more effective for me. And I'm just trying to get rough ideas out there. It doesn't mean it doesn't work the other way, just for me it's been a lot easier. Comparing it in size and scale to this. I think it'd be about this size. I think it'd be about like this size, assuming this little dot here is a person. A good place to add some like greebles, well, top of Millennium Falcon stuff. This kind of thing. Little thing that sits on top or does something up here. I'm looking at these for examples of that. All right. Maybe someone working in jewelry industry, how relevant and interesting. There's a lot of people that use jewelry or use ZBrush for jewelry actually. 3D printing jewelry is a big market now. Do you ever use live Boolean for this kind of stuff? Yes, I do. And it's something, especially if I were to take any of these further, I would do that. It's just at such an early step right now that I'm not really feeling like I should. Because right now I'm trying to just get the idea out there. And I know what I'll end up doing is like, pushing and moving and squashing and stretching. Which you can do in live Boolean, which does actually work quite well. Not a bad idea. It just takes a little longer to set up, and I just wanted to give myself 45 minutes for each of these three, and so it didn't feel like a great Anything to put myself under as far as time crunch is concerned for that. I think I'd like to drop at the front of this just a little bit. As far as this thing is concerned, probably just drag this whole thing down. Bring it in. Oh, these little spikes. It's like it's melting. Light Boolean would be excellent on these, though. Like if I know I want a circle with some details in it, it would be really, really great for that. And the back, we're still kind of confused about the back. I don't really know exactly. Sometimes also just flipping it around, being like, does that look like a ship? Not really. Looks like a face. Could this be a ship? It could be. Something in here, I don't know. Not so sure. I like this one. I think there's something to it, but I think it needs a lot more refinement. So this is one that will probably end up pretty cool, but it needs kind of like a real big push. Right now it's all very compact. There's not a lot of interesting shapes outside of the initial shapes. This is one I could probably also res up in Dynamesh. Just getting a little low. I'll bring up one more. Let's go 32. This one feels like I could either go here and like make it more aggressive, which I think is also super viable, or going this way and making it more like a transport ship. Because I'm saying this is probably going to be one of these types of ships, like a personal craft, let's make it more aggressive. So let's bring this in. That means that this needs to go down to accommodate that. Let's play around with these side pieces. This has like a really interesting overlap, which I haven't included. I should probably include that, just because I think that could make a nice additional detail. About 20 minutes left. You want to model something yourself right now? You should. Get in there, do it. Let's smooth this shape out. All the extra little bumps aren't doing anything for us. Let's inflate this part too. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, okay. That was an accident, but I kind of like that. Somebody was asking about happy accidents, or searching for happy accidents. Not something I search for, but that doesn't mean I don't use them when they happen. Feels like it needs to be pivoted. Probably just in the... Let's give a little angle to it. Chisel it off. It would taper for some reason, probably for some sort of a connection point. Usually they don't make really long pieces of metal change size, shape, or diameter just for no reason. There's almost always a reason, so just creating something like that makes it feel slightly more believable. Does look a little bit like a... I don't want to say this because I don't know if it'll be stuck in my head now, but I've already thought it. It kind of looks like a sort of like a roasted chicken with like the legs on top. Turkey. Ooh, we could put some headlights. Everybody loves headlights. What the hell? What's the name of the ship? The Roasted Turkey. Yeah. I mean, I was going to go something along the lines of like a Ren Fair. Or wherever you get your nice roasted, you know, turkey leg. This has all this detail in it, which is kind of cool. I don't really want to use exactly that, but it does have some shapes that we might be able to take. This to me feels like this is definitely where the cockpit is. Like there's probably here, and maybe there's like a secondary, there's a strut I've learned that people don't necessarily like struts in cockpit design for some reason, but it makes sense because it limits visibility. Horn helmets. Maybe put them in. We used to put them in Star Citizen, and anytime somebody would have a strut in their helmet or in their accident bug, but it kind of looks kind of cool, so we'll keep it. You would really hate it because it creates that visual obstruction. This is still a complete mystery to me. So let's see if we can figure out what it is. Maybe it's all like just part of the ship. Maybe these, I don't know what this big wheel does. Maybe it's like some generator. It's the power. It's the power of the ship or something. And these, we would have to add some subdivision levels to them. So we could come in here and we could just try a couple things. The cylinders do not like. This would be a good candidate for live Boolean. Somebody was asking about that earlier. But we'll leave it like that for now. The cylinders don't really like having the edges sculpted because of the way the topology runs. This could be like a fender cover. All right, Chad, we got about 10 minutes left. Which one are we liking so much so far the most? 1, 2, or 3? I'm kind of digging 3. 2's kind of not bad too, though. I think 3 has the most potential. 1's pretty boring. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. feels like it needs something in here. It's like I don't know where any of the motors, like the exhausts or boosts, are coming from. They'd have to come from here, and I think there's some interesting shapes in here to do that. This is sort of alien dropship shaped. Like if this was kind of like this. Getting closer. And that's not bad though. Just in general, maybe like this double set of boosters. Wheel feels like it needs to be more substantial. Still don't really know what it is, but that's okay. Alright. Still need to figure out some housings for these. So just this piece is not in the middle. Oh, there it was. So that feels wrong. Maybe this is a booster. Some bit of detail that might cover up this side of the ship or something. Alright, we got 2 minutes left. Try to get some last little details in here. Just put some panel lines on this thing. Make it feel more like a spaceship. Minute, here we go. I think I'm gonna make a quick adjustment proportionally to this. Probably just do this kind of thing, make it slightly more aggressive, stick out in the front. Last little tweaks before the time runs out. I kind of like this one now. Yeah, I don't mind this one actually. Alright, let's get this out of here. Let's save this. Let's put them all up here. Then we'll probably end the stream here in just a minute. Move this timer. So we ended up doing... This is our third one. This was our first one. This is our third one, or second one. Be more top down. Clear those out. Just make it, you know, presentation-wise. Those are our 3 spaceships we ended up doing today. I think I like number 2 and number 3. I think as number 3 is moving forward, I think I'm starting to get a stronger sense of where it's going. And I think I like it the most. Still need some work kind of back in this area. I think 2 just has so much issues in this area that I don't entirely know what it is. I think this character might be a tad small, but it might not be too bad. Dennis likes the first one. Nice. Maybe AJ, you were saying you like number 3. This is number 3. This is sort of Pelican, sort of alien dropshippy, sort of Razor Crest-like. I think that's kind of what I like about it. Couple people going for 3 as well. Nice, nice. We'll do a couple last adjustments on it. See if we can get a stronger read. These boosters are so tightly packed to the body that I want to see if we pull them out at all, if that helps. Not really. It kind of just makes it look more like a turtle. Or if we go the other way. That doesn't seem to make much sense. Adam, you're feeling number 3 as well, but 2 is cool as well. I think what I like is when I stretch this out, I really like this front square, like, area. This really, I guess, brutalist almost style. So I'm wondering, like, if we were able to just kind of quickly add that architecture, what this thing would feel like. Perspective should be off if I do that. I think 3 is my favorite. We're going to keep working with this one just for a short little bit. I could noodle on this forever, and I probably will end up doing a little bit more work to it at some point. I feel like these should probably be like duplicated. And shrunk. Apparently they were connected. The synthwave is a really good match for the stream. Yeah, I felt like this would be the nice time to kind of bring that in, you know? Now we just have to figure out what this spaceship sounds like. I don't know. Something. I really like the pod racer sound. Whenever the pod racers would pass by, that like echoing noise, almost like a transformer-y noise. Is it called a Doppler? Is that that's called? I don't remember. I'm not a big sound person. I don't like this big line I made. And these feel a little large, so I'm going to shrink them just a tad. That way it doesn't feel too small, especially if we're going to have these big things. We have this big one in the back. I don't know what these do. They're kind of just, what does it look like it's just gone? Terrible. Okay, so they have to stay. Just really need to clean them up. Like the sound Godzilla makes when he's charging up the atomic breath. Yeah, exactly. It's a great noise. I kind of want this to just like make a shape. Just make a shape. This definitely sounds like it's from Inception. Nope. Trying to avoid any royalty-free sound issues. Doesn't really have any details on it either. I think that's part of why it sticks out so badly. No speeder air brakes. Ooh, yes. Nice shot, Jackson. All right, everybody. I'm feeling pretty good with this, and I don't think I'm going to noodle on it too much longer. I think I need a visual break. I'm looking at it too intensely for the last hour. I'm kind of a little blind to it. So we're going to end the stream about 20 minutes early today. I say that as I continue to work. Landing gear would probably come out of here, like here, here. Where would they get out? Here. Obviously it would be torn. That's what would happen. Who needs toys? You can make your own toys, see? This is an issue. This like middle dead ground. Needs to be filled with something. The music is turning on us. Crazy how it started up as a folded up tricycle. Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's kind of like the whole point of like that whole style of like searching for shapes, using found shapes. If you look at like them side by side, you know, you can definitely see the inspiration. But I don't think anybody would be like, oh, that's a whatever Duma tricycle folded up. Additional intake vents right there. I don't know if you're talking about right here, but I'll put them right here. This is for the brakes, you know. Remember when I said I was going to stop the stream? I lied. I'm actually going to stop the stream. All right, everybody. We're going to stop on this point. I think I've got a pretty good idea of where this is going to go. And I actually might continue working on this. So I'm going to continue, kind of save this, take a break, figure out where I want to go with it. Pick it up next time. All right. I think these should be a little longer. This is the last edit. This is the last edit. Save. Place it in the screen so you can get a good look at it. Save it. And I think that's going to be it, everybody. Thank you so much for joining the stream today. It's been a fun one. Been a fun experiment. I've never done this type of a challenge, so it's always fun to try something different. Making something on a time crunch is a really good exercise that I've really been enjoying over the past couple months of, doing different things, whether it's heads or whether it's spaceships or different things. So it's something I've really enjoyed, so I would recommend you trying it yourself. All you need is a timer on your phone or anything else, or watch a show and say you have to sculpt something by the end of the show or something like that. Yeah, it's been a really fun one. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. We're going to close up the stream. So we have a event tomorrow night at 7, I believe it's 7:30 Pacific time, where we'll be having an artist speak about her journey in effects and showing off some work that she's done in Houdini. So check that one out. There'll also be a little bit of preview into some new Lenovo hardware. So check that out because that should be fun. Yeah, and I think that'll be a good event. And then we'll be streaming Art Jam every Wednesday, 2 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. So come on in and check out what we're working on. Work on stuff yourself and just say hi. Otherwise, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you guys all next time.